That is a photo of me as a young kid, and that is a photo of me after taking the gym seriously for a year. As you can see that even though I've built muscle, I'm still struggling to lose fat and get lean. Now this is a photo of me over the past 6 months after finding the cheat code to fat loss. So in this video, I'll show you how I found a simple system to lose fat whenever I want, so you can just copy me. Now I just want to give you a quick disclaimer. If you expect to hear advice like, just eat in a calorie deficit bro, or get enough protein in bro, then you're better off watching some other ChatGPT slop video. This video is going to be full of practical advice that I've learned over the past few years. And so yes, believe it or not, it does go deeper than just eating in a calorie deficit. Like I said, this isn't just another generic ChatGPT video, so the first thing I'm going to tell you about actually has nothing to do with your training or what you eat. And it's got everything to do with your mind. Believe it or not, 80% of the fat loss game is up in here. Think of it. Literally right now is when we've got the most information available about fat loss. Go onto ChatGPT, go onto Google, you can learn everything you need to know about fat loss. But then why is it that obesity rates are higher than they've ever been? Why is it that so many people, maybe even including you, start their fitness journey on January the 1st, but quit before February even starts? It's literally because they set themselves up for failure from the get-go with the wrong mindset. The absolute worst mindset you could possibly have when you're starting your fat loss journey, and this is the easiest way to sabotage yourself, is to expect immediate results. Literally, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you've spent a little more than like 4 to 6 months being fat. Some of you have been fat for a very long time. And please don't take this as an insult. I'm not using the word fat as a derogatory term. I was a fat kid. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, then you no longer wish to be fat. And so here's what changed it all for me. I remember when I was trying to lose my first 20 pounds, I was trying different diets, and of course nothing was working, as nothing does in the beginning, because I didn't know what I was doing. I remember being so frustrated with my slow progress that I almost quit. But then I asked myself this one question that changed it all for me. And that question was this: do you think it's reasonable for you to lose all of your fat in 30 days when you've literally spent years accumulating all of that fat on your body? And that's the one thing I say, even if you were to come on board to work with me by joining my minimalist fitness community, I would talk to you about, the specific tactics of how to lose fat. But the thing is, even if I gave you none of that, if I could simply give you the one tactic that trumps everything else, it's the tactic to just never give up and stay consistent. Think of it this way. I didn't have myself to guide me on my fat loss journey, but I still made it because I just never gave up. Yes, if you get help from somebody who's more experienced, you'll probably lose fat faster, but you'll definitely eventually end up losing fat if you don't give up. So you have to have some patience and play the long game when it comes to fat loss. So that means no extreme dieting, no 3-hour workouts starting on January the 1st like most people do. Take things one step at a time. Now, once you've got your head in the right place, now we can move on to the practical things that we've got to implement. Now, the biggest cheat code to fat loss that I've found over the years of me trying different diets, different workout styles, everything, is to simply track a few things that matter most. And I actually only realized this when I read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, if you're into the whole practical non-fiction book stuff, then you've definitely heard of this book before. One of the things, or rather my favorite thing that the author of this book says, is to focus on systems, not goals. So this is really simple, but the goal would be what you're trying to achieve, and then the system is what you're trying to do in order to achieve it. I know this sounds really corny, focus on the process, not the outcome, but it really does work. Think of it this way. Instead of me trying to, for example, if I'm in college and I want to get a good grade, instead of me focusing or obsessing over my grade in that class, I would be better off obsessing over my study sessions. And that's why this book changed my outlook on fat loss more than any other fitness influencer video ever did. Because what I learned from this was that you need to be obsessed with, well, not really obsessed with, but you need to be focused on the process while being more or less detached from the entire outcome that you get. So think of it this way. Imagine if you've got a kid and he's into a sport, tennis, right? For example, he's into tennis and he loses a tennis game. He's mad, he's frustrated, he's crying, whatever. Story of my life. But you just tell him to focus on practice, because the thing is, even if he does lose, if he focuses on practicing, he'll be better next time anyways, and he might beat the opponent that he just lost to. As adults, we tell our kids to focus on the practices rather than the outcome of the match, But then for some reason, when it comes to our own goals, for example, fat loss, we're obsessed with pounds coming off of the scale rather than eating right or moving enough or doing the right workouts. Now, when it comes to fat loss, there's 3 things that you need to get into the habit of tracking regularly. So it's more like 4 things because it's these 3 habits and then you need to have the habit of tracking these habits. Now, the first thing you need to track is your movement. Now, not tracking your movement when you're trying to lose fat is like not tracking your mile time when you're trying to become a collegiate cross-country runner. I'll tell you this from my experience as somebody who's coached people. I can tell how lean somebody is, approximately, without even looking at their body if they show me what their daily average step count is. And personally, that's the metric I tell my clients to track as well. You could track stuff like your heart rate, your, how much you're spending on the incline treadmill walking, but honestly, it's so much more effortless and natural to just track your step counts. Go into your iPhone, or if you're weird, into your Android phone. Who even uses Android phones anymore? Go into the health app of your Android phone and look at your daily step count. And if it is less than 10K, then you probably need to start working on that. And if it's less than 5K, then you've got a whole lot of work to do. The second thing you need to track is how you're eating. Now, pay attention to what I said. I didn't say what you're eating, it's about how you're eating. Really, this can be a topic for another video, but there's no such thing as bad foods when you're on a fat loss diet. Nobody watching this video, including me who's making this video, wants to wear a pair of Speedos and get up on stage and pose in front of like a bunch of people. And so for us, there's really no such thing as bad foods when it comes to fat loss. If anything, eating ice cream and eating like your favorite like foods that are blasphemy to eat by, the internet standards, these foods actually contribute to your fat loss by making your diet more sustainable. And literally the one question I would ask you, and this would more or less determine whether or not you're eating right, is, are you ever hungry? Because if you're never hungry and you're trying to lose fat, then you're probably doing something wrong. I'm not going to say that you always need to be starving. That's not the right way to go about it either. But you need to have somewhat, like for a few hours of the day, you need to be hungry. And just because you're hungry, keep in mind, just because you're hungry doesn't mean you need to eat. Okay, third thing that you need to track is your workouts. Now, I am gonna bang my head up against this wall till the day I die saying this, but the thing is, you need to have a good workout routine if your goal is to lose fat. Otherwise, after you lose fat, it's just gonna look like you got really sick and you didn't eat anything for like 3 weeks. If you wanna have a body that looks toned, not even like jacked or buff or anything, not even ripped, nothing. If you just wanna look healthy after losing fat, then you need to have a good workout routine. If you're not tracking your workouts, then it doesn't matter what split you're on, it doesn't matter how many days you're going to the gym. If you're not tracking your workouts, then you're not on a good workout routine. Now, if tracking all 3 of those metrics seems like a lot of one word, being work, then I've got an offer for you. I'll do all the work for you if you click the link in the description and join my Minimalist Fitness community. It's where I teach men how to lose fat and get ripped without dedicating their lives to fitness. If that sounds at all interesting, I'll see you in there. If not, no worries, I'll see you in the next video.